Is that me gold?
What the hell are you?
I'm a leprechaun, me dear.
Here. This is what you're looking for, right?
Me powers are returning. It sounds like me gold. It looks like me gold. It smells like me gold. It tastes like me gold.
Chris Scalzo here with
Matt Howell.
on this jumbo-sized program. This week on the first run, Matt and I are going to discuss Nia DiCosta's 28 years later, The Bone Temple. Picking up moments after the previous film, Spike's adventures in the cursed Scottish Highlands continue as Ray finds Dr. Ian Kelson and the Jimmies take center stage. And then we call it a wrap on 2025 with Park Chan-wook's No Other Choice, as Lee Byung-hun's loss of his job, Matt, appears to force him to extreme measures to lock up a new career. And then finally, Matt and I will close out the show basically by beginning our top 10 of 2025. I want to kick everything off, though, with films 10 through 6. I got ahead of myself, Matt, because I wanted to say now, let's kick it off with a clip from The Bone Temple. Shall we?
Let's.
This is a memorial to the dead.
So, is this all you're doing?
It is.
Are you Old Nick?
Old Nick. You mean Satan?
Yes. Old Nick released his demons unto the world of man. And the world of man fell before the demons.
They certainly did, Matt. What is 28 years later, The Bone Temple all about?
So, as Chris said, it takes place almost immediately after the end of the first, or I should say the previous entry in the series, 28 years later. Spike has been caught by a gang calling themselves the Jimmies, being led by an older person who goes by Jimmy, and basically takes this roving band of wigged kids and teenagers to terrorize survivors and just basically be menaces in the apocalypse. After forcing Spike to fight to the death, he then goes out on the prowl with the Jimmies, finds some unfortunate souls, until eventually he's forced to confront what he thinks is the devil himself in Ray Fiennes' character in The Bone Temple.
Yeah, and it's weird too. So the Jimmies, now they're known generally as the Fingers Gang, right? Mm-hmm. And Sir Lord Jimmy Crystal is the leader, played by Jack O'Connell, who has been on quite a run. Also included in last year's Sinners. And here they all have a different name, like Jimmy Shite. Was it one of them's like Jim Anthony or Jimette? I think is what it actually is, Jimette. Oh, here we go.
It's like
Jemima, Jimmy Fox,
Jemima.
Jimmy Snake, Jimmy Jones, and Jimmy Shite. So
and don't forget Jimmy Inc.
Okay, well there you go. So those are your Jimmies. And also too, another very important subplot of the film, Matt, is Samson, which I think we should probably spend a couple minutes talking about as well.
Yeah, this is kind of a dual plot film. They follow Jimmy for half of it. And they also follow Ray Fiennes' character Felton, where he basically keeps drugging up the alpha, the well-endowed alpha from the last film, and basically thinks that maybe he can tame him or even cure him to an extent by subjecting him to various drugs while he is all hopped up on morphine.
That's a way to go. Enjoy that. I think we're both big fans of 28 Days Later. I think we both enjoyed 28 Weeks Later as well. Mm-hmm. And then Alex Garland and Danny Boyle returned to this property last year with 28 Years Later to give us an update. And I think we both enjoyed that film. Mm-hmm. But for me, DiCosta takes us to a whole other level. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on The Bone Temple?
Yeah, it's It's interesting to see the touch of a different director, how vastly different they make this. And even though it's still written by Alex Garland, it is much nastier, right? It kind of really drives home that point in most zombie movies where it talks about the real monsters are humanity, and that's something that the
friends we made along the way.
Yeah, and something they drove home. Obviously it's a running theme in all the other films, but this one really, really sells that in the kind of almost caricature of evil in Jimmy Crystal, and the things that he makes his gang do are just. There are just some. There's a scene in the barn that's just goes on for a while and shows a lot more than you'd think they would, and it's it's bad. If I had one complaint about it, is that as good as the film is and as good as Ralph Fiennes is, the film is kind of a jarring tonal shift when you move away from the Jimmies to, what's his name, Felton in the Bone Temple.
Kelson,
excuse me, that's it. Yeah. Not that subplot isn't interesting, and it's not that it's not well done, but it is a big tonal shift, and the kind of meeting and climax of those two groups coming together is very interesting.
Yeah, I didn't really feel it was too large a tonal shift. In fact, I almost felt the tonal shift going from 28 years later to this is greater. That film, more of a coming-of-age story for Spike, and maybe it's just I'm not the biggest fan of coming-of-age movies in general, I don't know. But this film, it's just a tighter narrative. While I think the first film kind of meanders around a bit, this one is much more focused. Though it still has moments of letting Alex Garland's script kind of breathe, right? It does ramble a bit. There's still moments of quiet, personal examination, all that stuff. So DiCosta allows the film to breathe, but there is a much quicker, I think, general pace to this. It's much more unrelenting, I felt, than the first 28 years later film was. I think this is a superior film. Supposedly Boyle is coming back to make a sequel if they do. It's not performing particularly well, which is a real shame, because for me, Matt, this is easily at least the second best film in the franchise. And I would like to see what DiCosta does with the conclusion of this. I really hope she comes back to do it. It's all around just kind of meaner than the first one, which I appreciated, right? And it's much more engaging, I think. It's scarier. It's more intense and visceral. Just a nastier all-around, but still enjoyable experience for me. And because I was really concerned at the end of 28 years later, when they first introduced the Finger Gang, they introduced the Jimmies. We are like really at the edge of the cliff of descending into chaotic camp. And I was really kind of nervous about that, because I enjoyed it, but the end of that film, that's a tonal shift right there. That's a breakneck dog leg of a shift. And I think DiCosta handles that perfectly. And she's able to bring a level of sinisterism. How would I put that? But just a higher, more concerning level of evil to them than we get from that initial introduction at the end of the first film. I don't know, Matt. How's that? Right? And I also want to say that Iron Maiden scene with Old Nick already is going to be listed as one of my favorite scenes of 2026. That whole theatrical production, Ralph Fiennes just going for it. I was smiling gleefully through that entire sequence. It was just magic. I absolutely adored it, Matt. I know we're only a couple of weeks in, and I'm very happy to say I think I've seen the first great film of 2026.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it is definitely very, very good. That last scene where they do the Iron Maiden is gorgeous, with the flames and everything else. And
just a theatricality of it all. It's fantastic.
Well, Ralph Fiennes really commits, I mean, he, when he says he's going to hang dong, he hangs dong and he commits. So, yeah, there's a lot going on here. I think you're right. I think it may even be better than the first one. Maybe the best one of the entire series. Was delightfully surprised because I did not have high expectations going into this.
Yeah, DiCosta did the Candyman relaunch, which I think has its moments, but is ultimately, sadly, a little underwhelming. But not here for me with this film at all. And I loved, though, as Matt talked about the tonal shift for him, the relationship, the movement back and forth between Kelson and Samson, the development of Samson slowly potentially regaining his own consciousness and maybe being able to pull out of the rage virus. You notice, Matt, they slightly changed his makeup as he was progressing and maybe coming back to a more reality-based existence. All around, really a fantastic effort by Nia DiCosta. Now, I want to see, too, she did another film called Hedda with Tessa Thompson, which came out in 2025, which I'd like to catch up with, too. I think it's available right now on Prime. But Bone Temple, Matt, I'm giving it an A. I was coming into it with mild expectations, and DaCosta blew it out of the water for me. I really had a lot of fun and enjoyed this.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an A too. I think it's, despite whatever minor misgivings I had about it, I had a really good time. Performed well beyond my expectations.
So do you want to talk at all about the ending? I don't think it's really much of a spoiler at this point. I think it's out there online. People have been talking about it. I'm just curious for your thoughts about it.
Which part of the ending?
The reveal of Murphy's character is still alive and in this world.
Yeah, so that's a good point. You know, they obviously set this up for an immediate cliffhanger, right? So you have your survivors from this film being chased down by the infected. They show, Cillian Murphy's character with, assume, his daughter that he had with Naomi, and they decide that they're going to go help these strangers out, right? So it literally sets up the next one just like the previous film did for Bone Temple. If this is the note they decide to go out on, I think you do need to bring it full circle and find out what happened to him because of, where they left off in the first one.
Yeah, and we don't know if Naomi Harris's Selena is going to be in the next film yet or not. Fantastic effort all around. Man, it's nice to jump out of the gate like this. January is usually really rough, but not this time. Now people have to go see it. It costs $31 to make, made $63. That's global, so the numbers are a little underwhelming right now. But hopefully, word of mouth will give this a little punch, a little staying power, and people will go out and check it out. If you had a chance to see 28 years later, The Bone Temple, shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. We'd love to hear from you. I think that scene when Jimmy and Kelson first meet, when he comes down to him and he kind of breaks down exactly who he is and what's happening, we get a little background into Jimmy, which is, I think, one of the more frustrating. All right, there's two things I forgot I wanted to mention about that. One, we never really find out the connection between the Jimmys and Jimmy Savile. Outside of the aesthetics, outside of the look. That's it. Was Jimmy Crystal a survivor of him and of the child abuse that Savile allegedly that Savile did, right? Is that one of the things that kind of turned him into who he is? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what that connection is outside of maybe just Garland and Boyle wanting to just show here's the personification of evil. These guys are saying this. That's how bad Jimmy Savile was. Maybe it's just that simple.
Right, I guess maybe you just have the implied undercurrent of what is he doing to these, young people that he's got under his thrall. I mean, you never really get into some of that stuff, but some of them are pretty messed up, and they will seem to literally do whatever he says. So God only knows what he's asking for in the quiet hours when he's bored.
Oh, dear God, I hadn't even thought about that. Jesus, man. And then I guess the last thing, too, is I know Spike at the end of the film basically leaves a note for his dad that I'm going out on my own to kind of figure things out. I'm okay. I'll come back when I'm ready. And he tries to run out to meet him, but the tide is in, so he can't get out there. That's like a daily occurrence. So after that, he just kind of all right, cool.
We tried once.
I'm wondering if he's going to show up then in the third film. Yeah. I'm hoping, because I think that's like a major. I know for the film that doesn't work. I don't think it makes sense for him to show up. But it also doesn't make sense for Aaron Taylor Johnson's dad character to not want to try and find his son either.
You know what, though? I mean, and this is just me spitballing here, but if you have, Cillian Murphy's character as a dad, right? Showing one side of what fatherhood could be, and then you have Aaron Taylor Johnson somehow managing to track down Spike, and maybe it's a clash, right? Maybe it's, he's got to choose one or the other.
It's Cillian Murphy, Matt. Cillian.
Excuse me.
He's
Them hard
Irish.
C's.
Gotta get
Hard
that.
C's.
That's right. Don't worry, I pronounced it Cillian for the first 20 years when I first saw him. So, yeah, we'll have to find out. That's the one thing that I was kind of struggling with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the whole damn exercise is so damn good, I didn't care.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead, Matt, and keep rolling then. Let's spend a few minutes and talk about Park Chan-wook's latest film, a movie I could not wait to see. No other choice. Let's talk about.
석 달 내로 취직할 자신 있댔지, 그치? 나 그거 믿고 원래 우리 살던 대로 살았어. 퇴직금 까먹으면서. 이제 그것도 거의 바닥났고.
여보, 이 집은 내가 여기서 얼쭉 추억이 얼마나. 나 9살 때부터 평균 10달에 한 번씩 이사 다니면서 이 집 되찾으려고 얼마나 노력했어 내가. 아니 우리가 내 손으로 저 창고 뽀개가지고 온실도 짓고 그네도 달고 내가 하나하나 구석구석.
여보. 어차피 집 뺏겨.
All right, so to give you a little background on that clip, of course, because this film is in Korean.
Mm-hmm.
The family there is discussing what to do because my man here, Mansu, has lost his job at the paper factory. He was a veteran employee, and I love, too, just another beautiful touch where he gets the, what is it? Not steak. What is it? Eel. He gets this really expensive kind of nice eel, they think, as a reward, but it's more of a severance thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know that. Anyway, he's lost his job, and they've basically run out of money at this point, and they're talking about they're going to maybe have to sell the house. And he doesn't want to do that, and he talks about how he grew up in that house, and then they bought it when they were finally making some money, and all the repairs and adjustments that he made, and how difficult it's going to be to let go. So, in no other choice, Mansu basically loses his job, and he comes up with this plan. Well, there's another company that is looking maybe to hire a manager if he can make some things happen. So then he also orchestrates a fake company to get the applications of his potential competition so he can literally eliminate the competition for this job. And then all the wacky pratfalls, horrifying things that happen from there. And I will say, Matt, walking out of this, I was struggling a bit with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if part of it was cultural differences, my own ignorance of Korean culture, though I will say people losing their jobs and being desperate to find what they do, I think is a universal thing that we can all identify with. I'm thinking more there's probably little touches here and there of things that I don't quite catch. But what I realized too, this has been a slow burn film for me. It's been stuck in my head. I actually saw it about 2 weeks ago, and it's one of those that's just been stuck in my head ever since. And the first thing I walked out of the theater with is just a joy to behold its construction. I may actually appreciate the design of this film than the final product. Or design more, I should say, than the final product. And I don't mean that as a slight. Just as a movie fan, it's beautifully assembled. The shot selections, the pacing, the editing, the acting, the score, the entire thing is just a gorgeous cinematic experience if you are a film fan. He's a master. All right, Park Chan-wook is one of the greatest living directors we have, and his talents are on full display in this film. Just the one thing I go back and forth on is that sometimes I think it's too dark, that it's a black comedy that doesn't maybe lean in enough to the comedy, because there are some truly shocking moments. But I'm on the edge. Even as I'm talking about it, Matt, I'm reconsidering my position on it. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Yeah, so I completely agree with you. There are times where, especially in maybe the first quarter of this film, right, where he's kind of this put upon guy and he's lost his job and he's got, a genius daughter and a kind of ungrateful son and a wife that he kind of worries about straying and kind of being able to provide for her. While all those themes are all universal, there was something distinctly, I guess, foreign about it, where I felt that I was missing something vital, right? Because I'm not familiar with Korean culture and Korean family structures or any of those things, right? Now, I don't think it sinks the film, but it definitely is an undercurrent, right? That I feel like there's some level of appreciation that I'm missing, right? But to Chris's point, this thing is gorgeous. It looks fantastic. The way everything is structured, just all of the little touches. Like, he's in this interview with a Chinese paper company, and one of the guys is like literally shifted off to the right, and the sun is shining off the high rise behind him, and it's blinding him, and this guy just will not move, and he's trying to do his best to like get back into the shadows and kind of nail this interview and stuff. And it's like again, this guy's films are just kind of descents into, as Chris said, too much. But it's a powerful film. It looks great. It's going to stick with you. I just don't know, knowing that it is a black comedy and definitely being able to tell that they're trying to make this kind of, I think, statement on Korean society. I just think there's just that one little thing that keeps it from being perfect for me.
Yeah. I want to dwell on the pacing of it a bit.
Yeah.
Initially, I felt like it was running a bit slow out of the gate. But then I'm like, well, that's the design. We're slowly amping up not only the tension, not only the stakes, but the characters themselves. Particularly, we are with Mansu, because think about the first time he tries to kill somebody and how horribly wrong it goes, right? Mm-hmm. And we have that scene in the music room with the music blasting while the chaos of the fight to kill and survive is happening. Absolutely brilliant. And by the end, when we get to kind of the final boss, if you will, he is ready. He has planned it all out. He has learned. He is ready to go do it. And then on top of that, we have the relationship with Lee Mi-ri, his wife, played by Song Yi-jin, as she slowly realizes what is happening and decides to, though she is concerned, scared, and confused, support her husband. That one scene when they're on the Zoom, I don't know if it's Zoom or phone call, whatever it is, they have the video call at the end, when clearly she knows what's happening and she's supporting him. I mean, it's just brilliant, I think, from start to finish. And I think his slow beginning of the film, as we kind of build and build and build, that even applies to, for me, the black comedic touches of the movie as well. Because Chan-wook wants us to look into that just circling, swirling pit of darkness in front of us all the time. It's right there, I think, Matt, over our shoulders or just outside of our eye line all the time. He wants us to stare into that endlessness of nothing and then pull us back before it's too late every time, so we can figure out maybe how to best, I don't know, make better decisions in our lives, or maybe just how to best dispose of a body. Like that one scene in the greenhouse when he's figuring out what to do. Dark, horrifying, off-kilter, and oddly funny. So funny to me that it made me concerned for my own personal morality. Like, it's just, I don't know. That's what I love about his films. I mean, it's like Stoker, which I think is his first English language movie. Another really weird, dark movie. If you haven't seen it, you have to check it out. I absolutely adore that film. But of course, you have, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, Old Boy, Lady Vengeance, all this great stuff. The Handmaiden, fantastic, which I think is on Amazon Prime right now, which I think still hasn't gotten a physical release in the United States, which is just a travesty. But another fantastic experience. I'm so glad I was able to close out 2025 by seeing No Other Choice. And as I said, I've been vacillating B+, A-, A. I keep going back and forth, but just the sheer architecture of this thing, the construction of it, I'm going to give it an A. It's just another fantastic effort by Park Chan-wook.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an A-. I really enjoyed this film. I just think that there's just something about it that just keeps it from being an A. Chris gives out A's too easily.
I do.
I'm gonna hold back. And give. I only gave out 2 A's all of last year.
Oh, well, I should pull up the report card. I think I'm way over the top on my A's, aren't I? So, yeah, that's fine. I understand that. I love movies, Matt. What can I tell you?
I know, you do.
It's funny, too. I always say Matt's mainstream Matt, right? He's the common man. But he's much more...
I'm discerning.
Yeah.
I'm discerning.
Absolutely. I'm just... I'm a lover at heart, Matt. My emotions get the best of me.
Mm-hmm. You are.
If you've had a chance to see No Other Choice, it's currently in theaters. Please shoot us an email, feedback@thefirstrun.com. We'd love to hear from you. All right, Matt, I think I'm done giving out A's, but let's talk about some A films.
Let's.
We're going to start our countdown of the 10 best films of 2025. We're going to do 10 through 6 this week. Here's what didn't make the cut for me. Hopefully I'm not blowing up Matt's spot. But let's play a little clipperoo.
You are one naughty husband, George.
You asked how it works. To be with someone in this business, this is how. You each know what you know, and you know what you'll do, and you never discuss certain things again. I watch her, I assume she watches me. If she's in trouble, even of her own making, I will do everything in my power to extricate her. No matter what that means. You understand?
My God, that's so hot.
That's how it works. It's the only way.
Matt, that is a clip from Steven Soderbergh's Black Bag, a sexy spy thriller. Came out last year with Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett, who play. They're a couple. They're a couple of spies as well, and one of them actually may be betraying the country, and it's up to him to find out who has betrayed the British Secret Service there and the United Kingdom. Great stuff. If you haven't had a chance to see it, honorable mention for me, Matt. You go first. That way, I'm going to be nice and give you the ultimate number one for 2025 next week.
All right. You sure about that?
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So, yeah, Black Bag. I was vacillating on my number 10, right?
Can I say it? Speaking of top 10, vacillating may be like a top 10 word for me. It's one of my all-time favorite words.
It's a good word. It is one of them $10 words. So the way I did this was I went back and looked at our report card. I took anything that was an A, automatically is going to maybe be on the list somewhere, A minuses. And then I had a long string of B pluses, right? That filled out the rest of the list. So I had a handful of which Black Bag was one. Thought about it. But at the end of the day, as, what did you call me? People's Matt?
Mainstream Matt.
Mainstream Matt, thank you. I'm going to recommend, my number 10 that I think is going to be in my horror heavy list is Bring Her Back, the second film of the person who brought us Talk to Me. It's about a child that gets possessed by the spirit of a deceased little girl, and her basically, grieving mother is kind of forcing this to happen, and it's kind of inflicting this horror on this little kid in order to try and get her own daughter back. The body horror elements of this are disgusting. It is some really rough scenes, and as far as a horror film that's just nasty, that was my number 10.
Good, that's a good pick, Matt. And didn't make the list for me. Honorable mention, maybe. I think what it is, I keep going into their films thinking like, I keep reading it's supposed to be the scariest movie I've ever seen. And each time I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that was pretty good. I think my expectations have been too high for what Talk to Me and then that one too. So, yeah.
Have you watched Talk to Me since you saw it for the show?
No.
I did catch up with it, I think, at some point last year, and it was a lot better viewing experience. So I should watch it again and see if you have a different opinion on it.
Yeah, all right. I will add it to the list, Matt. My number 10, I just put it as my number 10 because the sheer joy of finally getting something that I have wanted since I was 12, basically. A good Superman movie by a guy who gets Superman. One of the most fun experiences I had at the theater this year. James Gunn's Superman, and it was fun. The score still bothers me because it feels like a previously frozen and warmed over like Kmart version of the Superman theme. I don't know why, Some people really like it. I think it's one of the weakest things in the movie. But still, to finally get my Superman on the big screen again after all these years, it's almost like an honorary number 10 position for me. Not that it's bad. I think it's a lot of fun. It's good. And it's just finally what I wanted. So that's my 10.
Yeah, it didn't make the list for me.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that Chris really enjoyed it. It was a watershed moment for Chris and his superhero fandom.
As a DC guy, do you know how long I've been in the wilderness? It's been... I still think, Peacemaker Season 2 is the best thing that Gunn has put out so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that.
But Superman, good stuff. I enjoyed it.
So then my number 9 is the Robert B. Jordan vampire film Sinners. I think really what kind of pushed this over the top and gave it to the bottom of the list for me is Jack O'Connell's turn as the Irish vampire Remick. By far the most charismatic and most interesting thing on the screen. I think it's maybe it's blasphemy to say this to a certain set of people, but blows Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld out of the water as far as when they're both on, all three of them are on the screen. I think Jack O'Connell plays an excellent vampire, and I would love to see more of it. But I'm not going to. But I enjoyed Sinners quite a bit. I thought it was a very interesting take on the vampire myth.
Y'all clan? Yeah, no, that I outright reject that. I think that he's good in it. Truly, very good O'Connell. But more charismatic than Smoke or Stack? I don't think so. I got to call foul on that. Absolutely not. And number 9?
Yeah, number 9. Because I gave it a B+. I'm a man of integrity, Chris. I gave it a B+. So I'm not going to put it forward over an A- or A film.
Well, here's the thing, Matt. You got to cut yourself some slack, because I cut myself all the slack in the world. Because these are my favorite films. Not the best films per se, but my favorite films of the year. The films I enjoyed the most.
Okay.
My number 9, then, is a movie we didn't watch for the show.
No?
I just caught up with it 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Mary Bronstein's If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, featuring Rose Byrne. She has a daughter who is suffering some type of feeding disorder where she has to have a tube to give her 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 husband, they're in an estranged kind of relationship. They're married, they're still together, but he's away on business all the time. Her world, her home, their apartment, the ceiling in the bedroom caves in, so they have to stay at a hotel. Just her world is unraveling around her. And for me, it's just a searing, excruciating and incredible performance. Probably my favorite performance of the year. Just Rose Byrne in this film. She just won the Golden Globe, by the way, for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it is searing, Matt. I mean, it's one of those movies where you watch it and you're like, I never want to see this ever again. It is so intense and so upsetting all the time. And If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. It's just off the sheer strength of Rose. She carries the whole film. Because her daughter, you don't really see her, at least her face, until the very end of the movie. Her husband, who's played by Christian Slater, he's mostly just on the phone. He pops up once or twice. Everything revolves around her. She's carrying the weight of this film, and the film is oppressive. It's suffocating. And really, just incredible viewing experience. So that's my 9.
My number 8, then, is talking about oppressive viewing experiences. It's one we just caught up with a few weeks ago. Charlie Pollinger's The Plague, about a young boy who's awkward and shy, who is sent to a all-boys water polo camp, and he learns that one of the more odd members who is there has been dubbed with something called The Plague. This film is one of those films that I probably never will watch again. It is hits the tone of what it's like to be in those kind of adolescent situations and not fit in, and that it just makes your skin crawl. And the things that he does and justifies to try and fit in with these horrible little kids is just, it just will bring you crashing back to your high school or middle school years, whether you were a Ben or a Jake. And it is just it's just gross watching it, but it's incredibly well done.
That's a good one, Matt. It's an honorable mention for me as well. My number 8, then, just rewind. It's no other choice. It's my 8th favorite film of the year. We just spent 15 minutes talking about it, so that's good enough, I think.
All right, then.
I can just reread all my notes if you'd like, Matt. You want some more time? I can do that.
Sure. You know what?
In the end, oh wait, I have one more thing. What do we have here? No, I think that's good. All right, go ahead. What do you got?
Yeah. So, not to be weird, but No Other Choice is my 7. Again, I just kind of stuck it on the list. I think I, really enjoyed it, and I think it's latecomer, but it's a worthy addition to this list. Just like I said, just go back and listen to it 5 minutes ago.
There you go. Then my number 7, I'm going to go with Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Another fantastically crafted cinematic experience. I was very happy. I got to actually see it in the theater, and just maybe a film dominated by its visuals more so than its narrative, but still, what an enthralling experience. The absolute madness of Oscar Isaacs, his arrogance at all costs, obsessed to create this life. Jacob Elordi as the monster, of course. But really, who is the monster? And of course, Mia Goth, Christoph Waltz. Just a fantastic experience. If you haven't seen it, it is currently on Netflix. But just another visual wonder by Guillermo del Toro. So that's my 7.
This is really annoying, but that's my number 6. I think I think it's a story that we're all very familiar with. It's something we've seen 100 times, whether you're talking about the Universal one or Martin Scorsese's one with Robert De Niro, but no, that was Kenneth Branagh. Excuse me, that's completely wrong. But it's as Chris said, it's visually inventive. It's really well done. The actors are great. They really commit to the roles. It seems very kind of otherworldly in its construction, almost vaguely Tim Burton-esque in the kind of, it's got its own kind of feel to it. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a gorgeous film, and it was a good retelling of the Frankenstein story.
Yay! So my number 6 then, Matt, again, is another film we did not watch for the show. I actually took the afternoon off from work to go see this in the theater one day because it was going to leave the theater that weekend.
Oh, no.
And I couldn't get there that weekend. I couldn't. The only time I could see it was, I think it was like a Monday afternoon, actually, was it? I don't remember. Either way, it's my time. It's PTO, right? I can take it whenever I want to use it.
Yeah, that's right. You can.
Kleber Mendoza Filho's The Secret Agent. The story about a professor during the military dictatorship in Brazil. He is being basically stalked or hunted down by the military. He ticked off the wrong guy. He ends up joining he's staying at this kind of underground refugee hotel with a bunch of other people who are on the run from other things as well, as he's trying to basically meet with a reporter, tell his side of the story of what happened during the dictatorship, why he came to be where he is. Lots of intrigue, lots of just a slow burn kind of spy thriller, not like a James Bond thing, more just, trying to live your life with honor in a hopelessly corrupt military dictatorship. And some fantastic performances here. Very thrilling, very edge of your seat, kind of suspenseful moments as well. And mostly in the end, I think why it works so well is because it's such a human story too. So The Secret Agent ends up being my number 6.
Fantastic. Look at you.
I think you can. Yeah, I think you might be able to get this online now. I think you might be able to rent it digitally. I think at this point, you got a chance. Secret Agent, it's good stuff. All right, Matt. So you want to pocket our honorable mentions? We'll wait for that for next week.
Yeah, that sounds good.
What are your favorite films of the year? If you had a 10 through 6, feedback at thefirstrun.com as always. Matt, what's coming up next week on the big show?
Oh, you're too fast as I'm sitting here madly trying to pull up the list because I didn't check before we started. So here we go. You can bear with me. This is good radio, right? We're checking out Mercy, whatever the hell that is.
That's that Chris Pratt, Rebecca Ferguson.
Oh, yeah.
AI judge condemns him type of a thing. Though, what I'm also going to do, Matt, I think, if I can pull it off, is the 4K. I don't know if it's going to be 4K, though. But anyway, the theatrical re-release. Release here? Was it ever released here officially? Of the Killer is going to be playing here. Nice. So I'm going to try and check that out. I'll report back on how that was too. To see that in the big theater, I'm very excited. Hopefully, I can make that work.
I like Rebecca Ferguson. She's very pretty, and I think she's a pretty good actress. But man, this does not look good.
It does not. In the meantime, you can check us out at thefirstrun.com. You can find archives of all the old shows. There's a little player there. Just hit the little play button and it'll start cycling through them. There's also the report card there and just a whole bunch more. I noticed the horror bracket's still up there. So if you're curious how we did with our horror movie bracket last year, Horror Madness, you can check that out. We should try to do something like that again this year. I don't know. We got to come up with something, Matt. And then head on over to, where else are we? YouTube, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Just do a search for The First Run. Scroll. You'll find us. And over Apple Podcasts, give us a review. It'll help other people find the show. And that will be that for this week. We're going to go ahead and take an extended break. We'll love you all very much. Even if I stutter or trip over it, I do mean it. Please take care of yourselves, and we will see you all soon. Take care. See you then. Vamping. Okay, good.
A friend with weed is a friend indeed. But a friend with gold is the best, I'm told.